Lindsey Graham, just before he died, said he cannot die, and actually said something even more, saying, quote, "I can't die now. I still need to do the Russian sanctions, get Iran sorted out, and do the Israeli-Saudi normalization." That is what a report from Axios is stating right now. And by the way, we do have an update about what actually killed Lindsey Graham. It was that he had a tear in his heart. I need to add, Lindsey Graham was just in Ukraine. He was a big supporter of Ukraine. This sanctions bill, this is my personal opinion, I feel like 100% it's going to pass. And I feel like they're going to do it in Lindsey Graham's honor. Like, I can imagine the speaker come to the floor and say, everyone, Lindsey was working on this. He really wanted to get it passed. Let's do it for him. They'll sign it. And of course, then President Trump will sign it, since right now Trump is a fan of Zelensky. On a complete side note, we did finally get to see proof of life that Senator Mitch McConnell is alive and is at least doing better. This is the photo they uploaded online a few hours ago. So at least for now, we can finally put that speculation whether or not that he actually passed to rest.
So after Republican Senator Lindsey Graham passed away last night, Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and other politicians in Israel, and also including AIPAC, the pro-Israel lobby, they've come out and expressed support to honor Lindsey Graham after he passed away. Now, I just want to say, if Benjamin Netanyahu thinks you are a good person, yeah, you're not a good person, man. Benjamin Netanyahu literally has arrest warrants out, international arrest warrants out for his war crimes that he has committed on Palestinians. And also, I just want to say, is it not weird that Benjamin Netanyahu just went on a press tour again today on like so many different news stations talking about Lindsey Graham? Why is Israel's prime minister getting asked for a bunch of public comment on an American senator? I'm sorry, but like, how you're actually crazy if you don't think that Israel influences American politics. Like, how do you see this stuff go on and you just like completely ignore it? All of what Senator Lindsey Graham stood for was selling out his constituents to Israel, selling them out to corporations, and also to billionaires. That's his legacy. Anyways.
Breaking news, President Trump says Senator Lindsey Graham said to him when he came back from Ukraine, "Boy, I care about the SAVE Act." Bullshit. Bullshit. Prove it. You record all the calls. Prove it. The President of the United States says Lindsey Graham was really caring about the SAVE Act when he came back from Ukraine? I don't think so. And let's be very clear. Lindsey Graham wanted us to give as much as we could to Ukraine, and I get it. Lindsey Graham also is a big reason why we're in Iran the way we are, and I disagree with it completely. Lindsey Graham is also a reason that we are so tied to Bibi Netanyahu's agenda, and I disagree with that too. So, no, I don't think Lindsey Graham called him after coming back from Ukraine to say, "Boy, I'm really involved with this SAVE Act. That's the most important thing." I don't think so.
The big question on everyone's mind around the death of Lady G, Lindsey Graham, is if he is not married, had no significant other, and an ambulance was called in the dead of night, who called said ambulance? I've been tracking the story for 12 hours, and yours truly got his hands on the 911 tapes.
911, what's your emergency?
Yeah, I think he's dead.
Who's dead, sir?
I don't know his name. I just know by his screen name, Trump Dumpster.
Okay, just what's your name?
Troy.
Okay, Troy, can you just tell me what happened?
Well, he started grabbing his chest, and I thought he was just clutching for his pearls. But then he fell over, and now he's not moving.
Okay, Troy, we've tracked your location, and the ambulance is on the way. I just need you to stay put.
Oh, no. I was only paid for 2 hours, so I'm a go. But the door's unlocked. He's down in the basement. Now, there's a sports poster on the wall. Just push that aside. There's a room back there. But y'all be careful. It's real slippery down there from all the baby oil.
Troy, I really need you to stay put. We just did...
Okay, you heard it here first. Thank you, Troy. Brave, twink, sex worker Troy. Not all heroes wear capes, you guys.
Lindsey Graham has passed away. He's moved on to the next journey in his life, which is convincing Hades to attack Zeus and Poseidon. He says it'll only take a couple of weeks and won't require any ground troops. And Poseidon will never close the strait.
Lindsey Graham had just passed away, and Americans are reacting to it. He said he is for Israel, like he supports Israel till he dies, and now he's dead. And Israel's are celebrate like are mourning him. They're saying he's their closest friend, he's their own person, and they've lost one of their greatest ally. So Americans are like, hey, he was sick and he didn't actually take care of himself when he's supposed to, and all of a sudden he just passed. Now I think he's single, he didn't marry. He gave everything to his sister, who swore to take care of everything he left behind. So let me leave you guys to watch the end, okay? This is just the breaking news this morning. And don't go anywhere, I'll come back with more commentaries, family. Stay with me, guys.
There are two Lindsey Grahams that America's going to remember. There's this Lindsey Graham.
I want to talk to the Trump supporters for a minute. I don't know who you are, and I don't know why you like this guy. He's a race-baiting, xenophobic, religious bigot. He doesn't represent my party. He doesn't represent the values that the men and women who wear the uniform are fighting for. Stay in the race, just stop being a jackass. You don't have to run for president and be the world's biggest jackass.
And then there's the Lindsey Graham that turned into the complete Trump bootlicker. And this is probably the version of him that America's going to remember.
He is the greatest commander-in-chief of all time. Our military is the best of all time. Iran is going down, and Cuba is next. This is Ronald Reagan plus. Donald Trump is resetting the world in a way nobody could have dreamed of a year ago.
Not only did the guy completely flip-flop for Don the Con, he helped push Trump's conservative judicial nominations through the Senate, he defended Trump during the first impeachment, and he campaigned enthusiastically for his return to the White House. The Lindsey Graham that was more passionate about Israeli foreign policies than the day-to-day concerns of his constituents in South Carolina, like rising costs, healthcare, infrastructure, the economy. That's the Lindsey Graham that America will remember.
I think America has lost a great patriot. Israel has lost one of the great champions of the American-Israeli alliance. And frankly, I've lost a beloved friend who I've had for many decades. There's just no one like him.
Mr. Prime Minister, what does his loss mean not only for you, but the people of Israel? What do you think the impact is globally?
In Israel, it's grief. In Iran, it's celebration, because Lindsey never confused good and evil. He knew exactly where the Iranian regime is. He thought it was a great danger, not merely to Israel and to America's allies in the Middle East, but to America itself. And he just never wavered. He was so clear. He had clarity, he had courage, he had the convictions that he believed were at the basis of America. I always use it like the Superman comics. You remember freedom, justice, and the American way. He represented these traditional values, and Kristen, he never flinched. He was absolutely uncaring about the winds of fashion. He believed something, he spoke about it directly and with candor, and if he wanted to tell me something unpleasant, he would do so, in his southern drawl. And sometimes I always say that I knew something bad was coming when he said, well, you want to take it from a good old southern boy from me who doesn't know much about the world, and then he'd bring it in, He was so smart and so full of conviction and dedication that it's these qualities, and I think the president spoke about it. He was at once a great politician, but I think beyond that, I think he was just an incredible patriot for America.
It's my honor to ask his little sister, Darlene Graham, to finish his work for him now.
It is such a privilege to get to finish some of his important work, and I promise to work hard over the next several months to support the president and carry forward the efforts of my brother on behalf of the citizens of South Carolina and the United States. I think this is what Lindsey would have wanted, and I plan to honor him in this way. Now, to Lindsey, I miss you more than I can even put into words. But I'm going to do this. I got it. Thank you.
Lindsey Graham's last message to all Americans: look.
Forget it. I'm not with you. I'm with Israel. I will be with Israel to our dying day. They're the best ally we could hope for. So we have a commander-in-chief in President Trump, who I think is Ronald Reagan plus.
All I'm going to say is, if they blame Iran for his sudden death, you need to run, because World War III will start at that very moment.
Why did Lindsey leaving the military? He returned to his hometown, opened a law firm, and later served as a town attorney and prosecutor. His career eventually led him into Congress. In politics, Graham found his sense of purpose. He devoted nearly all his time to public service, spending every weekend focused on political work. He also believed that having a spouse could create another vulnerability in the political arena. By his 50s, he had fully embraced a demanding life of politics and independence. He even joked that if he became president, his sister and female friends could take turns as First Lady. How do you view his lifelong choice not to marry?
So when we were faced with destruction as a nation after Pearl Harbor, fighting the Germans and the Japanese, we decided to end the war by bombing Hiroshima and Nagasaki with nuclear weapons. That was the right decision. Give Israel the bombs they need to end the war they can't afford to lose, and work with them to minimize casualties. So can I say this? Why is it okay for America to drop 2 nuclear bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki to end their existential threat war? Why was it okay for us to do that? I thought it was okay. To Israel, do whatever you have to do to survive as a Jewish state.
Okay, just watch this. Lindsey Graham is dead. Let me repeat that. Republican Senator Lindsey Graham passed away at age 71 from a brief and sudden illness, pronounced dead after cardiac arrest at his Capitol Hill home, just hours after returning from Ukraine. His office confirmed the shocking loss on Saturday night, with emergency crews rushing to the scene as paramedics wheeled him out on a stretcher. Donald Trump called him one of the greatest senators and a true patriot, while Zelensky praised his 10th visit and support for Ukraine. South Carolina's governor mourned the irreplaceable fighter. Yet, this is the same Lindsey Graham who once ripped Trump as a jackass, who crossed the line by insulting John McCain and wasn't fit to be commander-in-chief, before flipping into a full MAGA bootlicker, cheerleading for endless wars, Israel until my dying day, and calling Trump Reagan plus. Life can change just like that. Now South Carolina faces a special election scramble.
So how come we don't yet know who called the EMTs? Because in case you missed it, someone called 911 last night for Lindsey Graham. He had just returned from Ukraine. He had been gone on a trip. As far as I know, he doesn't have any live-in staff. He's not married. He's not known to have a significant other. He doesn't have any children. He doesn't have a roommate. And no one is reporting who it was. It wasn't like a friend or neighbors or a close acquaintance. It was like police responded to a 911 call. And who's calling 911 from your side in the middle of the night? Because we're never going to hear about that. We're never, ever going to hear about that. And you know that if it was like some super young girlfriend, it would be like 24-year-old hot blonde Jessica whatever is phoned in that he was having a heart attack. Or it would have been his housekeeper or his close friend John who lives across the street. Or it would have been some dramatic story about how he went on a journey to try to get somebody to get help. And they would have been like, oh, he was so heroic, he went to go get help. Who was it?
This is my brief update regarding the death of Lindsey Graham, the U.S. Senator. He was 71 years old when he was pronounced dead. Now, personally to me, there is nothing good I can tell you about Lindsey Graham, apart from the fact that he was a warmonger. He supported a lot of wars against other countries and in favor of the United States. Lindsey Graham was a strong advocate and a strong supporter of Israel. No matter what Israel does, good or bad, Lindsey Graham would support Israel at all costs. He had no children, never married, and he lived in Capitol Hill in the United States. Now, I'm not going to go too much into the negative side of things. The man is dead and gone. I'm just going to discuss the conspiracy theory that had surfaced. A lot of my followers have been messaging me since yesterday. Big Shy, say something about Lindsey Graham. Do something about Lindsey Graham. Please, if I don't have any information or any verified or confirmed details of something to talk about, I'm not going to sit there and feed you with wrong information. Because everybody is doing it or because the story is viral, is all over the news, doesn't mean I'm going to do it. If there's nothing reasonable or meaningful to talk about, I'm going to avoid it. But anyway, we have something interesting to talk about, and that is why I'm doing this. 2 conspiracy theories surrounding the death of Lindsey Graham, where he died, and how he died. And that is what I'm going to discuss with you today. But before I go into the conspiracy theories, let's look at the fact that we know right now, what had been reported by the United States government. And then we'll talk about the conspiracy theories. The US government claimed emergency services was called to Lindsey Graham's Capitol Hill home around 8:30 a.m. yesterday. 8:30 p.m. yesterday, Saturday, the 11th of July 2026, after he suffered chest pain. Emergency services, apparently they were carrying out CPR, and cardiac arrest was suspected that he had cardiac arrest. He was supposed to appear on NBC News to do a press sort of Sunday morning show after he returned, after his trip to Ukraine, where he went around the Skyfall drone factory and all the drone factories in Ukraine. He also met with Zelensky in Kyiv on Friday. Lindsey was a strong advocate against Russia. He would support anything that goes against Russia. Sanctions and everything and anything that will make Russia look bad or that can bring Russia down. Lindsey Graham was a strong advocate for whatever it is against Russia. Now, let's forget about that for now. So now that is the fact we know. Emergency services were called to his home. They claim he suffered cardiac arrest and he was announced dead, right? So that is the fact. Now let's go to the things that didn't make any sense or that doesn't make any sense and still doesn't make any sense. 2 conspiracy theories. 1, they claimed Lindsey Graham met Zelensky 24 hours after he met Zelensky in Kyiv. He was rushed back home, and 24 hours later, he was pronounced dead. I haven't said anything. Just wait. Brace yourself. The second conspiracy theory is that there is suspicion or speculation that Lindsey Graham was deleted in Ukraine when he visited the Skyfall drone factory. I think there's one called the Fontron drone factory. There were 2 drone factories, the Skyfall one, and those 2 drone factories were run by the United States, right? Owned by the United States. So let's go to the first conspiracy theories. Lindsey met Zelensky in Kyiv. Everything was going fine. Everything went fine. But in between Friday and Saturday, nobody knew what happened. Nobody knew what happened. Friday, he was in Kyiv. Saturday, how he got back home, nobody knows. If he went back home, nobody knows. Until we see his body before we can say, okay, he's actually in the United States. But right now, it could be anywhere. It could be in Ukraine. It could be in the US. It could be anywhere. But nobody has seen the body. Nobody has seen anything apart from the report that was provided by the US government. So, speculation, was it poison? Because Ukraine, Russia, and most of the Eastern Europe, they have this slow, you know, deleting thing. They like, I don't want to use the word, that affect nervous system and whatever, and shut the body down slowly. They have them in abundance in Eastern Europe. But why would Zelensky want to do that? Or why would anybody else want to do that to Lindsey Graham? You never know. You never know. Everybody is a suspect apart from the dead man, right? So, theory number 2, which I think is most credible, most probable. Lindsey Graham was doing a tour around the drone factories in Ukraine. On Friday, the 11th, Friday was the 10th. Saturday, on Friday, the 10th, he visited the Skyfall factory in Kyiv in Ukraine. Please listen to what I'm about to say. Don't jump the gun. Don't say Big Shy said. I'm just giving you the most probable or the most near to truth or to the true fact. On Friday, he visited the Skyfall drone factory in Kyiv. Just about the same time, the Russian launched strike on that drone factory. You remember, right? Heavy bombardment of Kyiv. Russia destroyed 2 massive drone factories, destroyed the enriched uranium factory where they had to evacuate the citizens around the whole of that area. You remember, if you follow me, you know I made videos about that. Or Google it, check it, you'll find all this information there. If you're lucky, if they put it on the, on their news. But Russia destroyed those 2 drone factories. And those are the 2 drone factories Lindsey were touring, visiting. On Friday, kaboom. On Saturday, they cooked up a story that all of a sudden he had a sudden illness, a sudden sickness that he didn't have on Thursday, Friday. Boom, Saturday, he was on, and they announced he was gone. Where is dead body day? That's the first question. Where is dead body day? Of course, they're going to bring a casket out and just wrap it with some flag. They're not going to show you nothing. Until we see something like that before we know, okay, he's actually in the United States. But right now, all the conspiracy theories makes more sense than the actual news that they give us. Now, I'm not saying anything is wrong, anything is right, but I'm just giving you the conspiracy theories around what experts are suggesting that happened. And there's no smoke without fire, right? I didn't say anything. Come, I would deny you. I would deny you. I didn't say, I'm just, okay, use your mind. It was in Ukraine on Friday. It was fine. Boom. Saturday morning. Use your head. 8:30 p.m. Saturday evening. Okay, if you look at it, if he was in Ukraine on Friday, doing a visit around and a tour around all the drone factory on Friday evening, if you calculate it, the flight from Ukraine to the United States is going to be, let's say, minimum, maybe about 7, 8, maybe 9 hours top, right? So by the time you get home, right, and get settled in and whatever, and then 8 p.m., 8:30 p.m., that is the time they gave us. They calculated the time and made it long. So they won't say early, because if they say early, people will question, how did he get home? When did he get home? But they said 8:30 p.m. at night. So that time gap that they put in between makes it difficult for mumu, people will not go to school, will not get sense. It make it difficult for them to to join the line. Not people like me and you. We smart past that one, right? And then the man was gone. All of a sudden, cardiac arrest, and then boom, gone. That is what they said. But from the story on the other side, we are going to be here together. Follow if you haven't followed yet, because I'll continue to. On this one, the investigation had started. We'll get to the bottom of it. If you know, you know.
Lindsey, why don't you just admit that you're gay and then people won't blackmail you anymore?
I feel good about the Republican Party. We're killing all the right people and we're cutting your taxes. And you know how you make America great again? Tell Donald Trump to go to hell.
I want to thank the big guy, God. Trump comes later. Mr. President, you're not far behind God.
Flatten Gaza. Just flatten it. We flattened Berlin. We flattened Tokyo. Trump is my favorite president. We've run out of bombs. We didn't run out of bombs in World War II.
Washington is in a state of shock this week following the sudden death of Senator Lindsey Graham, and as another key Republican, Mitch McConnell, remains absent from the chamber for the foreseeable future. Graham's loss was a gut punch for many of his colleagues, but it also threatens real near-term consequences for the Republican Party as it stares down a flurry of impactful bills and Senate confirmations, most notably that of Attorney General nominee Todd Blanche. The Senate Judiciary Committee was already divided on Blanche. He's an ex-Trump lawyer accused of weaponizing the Justice Department by critics, meaning that Graham's yes vote here was especially crucial. Without the two Republicans, a final vote could be stalled or blocked completely. The coming weeks will also prove telling for the Senate. Republicans have just 7 weeks before the midterms to pass a spending bill, approve massive Trump-backed defense spending, and more. Graham's passing and the absence of McConnell will further complicate these major tasks, as Senate Republicans are left with a razor-thin majority of just 51 voting members. That's enough to see their legislation pass, but only if every single member backs the bills.
You just wait for Cuba. Cuba is a communist dictatorship that's killed priests and nuns. They've preyed on their own people. Their days are numbered. We're going to wake up one day, I hope in 26, in our backyard, we're going to have allies in these countries doing business with America, not narco-terrorist dictators killing Americans. This is a big frigging day. And everybody in the world is thinking differently than they were just a few days ago because of what you did.
Cuba is ready to fall. You know?
Yes.
Cuba looks like it's ready to fall. I don't know if they're going to hold out. But Cuba now has no income. They got all of their income from Venezuela, from the Venezuelan oil. They're not getting any of it. And Cuba literally is ready to fall. And you have a lot of great Cuban Americans that are going to be very happy about this.
Well, can I say this? Why is it okay for America to drop 2 nuclear bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki to end their existential threat war? Why was it okay for us to do that? I thought it was okay. To Israel, do whatever you have to do to survive as a Jewish state. All the anti-Semites, to all the isolationists, I don't believe. Forget it. I'm not with you. I'm with Israel. I will be with Israel to our dying day.
Do you know how much of an inheritance Lindsey Graham left behind for his only sister after his death? Although Graham was 71 years old, he never married and never had children of his own. The only immediate family member he left behind was his sister, Darline Graham Nordone. When they were children, their mother passed away from cancer. Not long after that, their father also passed away after becoming ill. As a result, Graham took responsibility for raising his younger sister Darline and supported her through college. But Graham's support for his sister went far beyond that. He once said he wanted to run for president and believed his sister could one day become the first lady. He gave almost all of his love and care to his sister. Even after his passing, he left his sister a considerable inheritance. According to public financial records, Graham's annual salary was around $174,000. Although his salary was not among the highest in Congress, his financial situation remained stable over the past decade. By the time of his death, his net worth had reached approximately $1.5 million. In addition, he left behind a townhouse valued at around $890,000. It was also reported that he owned another property in Seneca, South Carolina, which appears to have been inherited from his parents. Although its market value has not been publicly disclosed, the property holds many childhood memories for him and his sister.
Okay, family, thank you for watching that video. I hope you find it very interesting. If you do so, please make sure to like, support the channel by subscribing if you haven't subscribed yet. Okay, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye, family. Nice to see you.